Well, good, Erica. You keeping an eye?
I see we are live.
You already
You
got
you want
clearance.
me to start us off today?
Yeah,
Hello.
take it away.
Okay, hi everybody. It's the ripple effect. And I'm here with David Kirsten, my esteemed co-host and producer of The Ripple Effect, brainchild of The Ripple Effect, Wide Angle Media, David Kirsten, and our special guest.
Co-brainchild.
Say it again.
Co-brain. We came up with this together, so I would say each of us is kind of responsible equally for it. For the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it's 3 dozen of one, 5 tenths of another. So I am very happy to have on our special guest today, last minute attendee after we had a couple of switcheroo, is Lawrence McKendell of McKendell Design, graphic designer and branding. Hello, how do you do? You're on mute.
Hello.
Hello.
Dry.
Are you dry? Are you warm?
Less damp, put it that way. So yeah, dry. And I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for hopping on. It's so wonderful to be able to be like, come on over. We have a way to chat with you in a format that helps everybody know about you and what you do.
Yeah, and did you want to talk about a couple your defrag thing first before we get to Lawrence, or
My
you want to do
defrag
that at
thing?
the end? Yeah, you have a course coming up that we wanted to highlight.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
did you have something that you wanted to talk about too, David Kirsten?
Not today.
Not today? Okay. Well, I am cooking up the mischief that I'm cooking up. It's called Post-Pandemic Defrag, Holistic Approaches to Wellness in Chaotic Times. And we're just going to call it the defrag. Let's just call it the defrag for short because it's easier to say. But sure is a lot of words. I just like, whoa, it's just like activated my whole mouth by saying all that. So defrag, this course that I've put together, is coming up starting January 23rd. That's next Monday. And you are both invited. And it's going to be a great way for people to clean it up after whatever we've been through, the winter, the pandy, the chaos of the news, the this, the that, different ways of thinking about what's going on, and to clean up and to resource, ground, and be supported in mind, body, and soul. So that's my course. I'd love for people to ask me about it, to come check it out. Come to this Friday's Defrag Friday. Last Friday, we did some, believe it, of all things, African dance inspired movement with yoga. And it was so fun to do that. And this Friday, well, I have to see what way the wind is blowing to see what we need. Maybe it's a cold day. We need to do something warming. But every time I offer this, we do something experiential. So I hope that you'll talk to me about it and come on over and play. You can look on my website, click, and there you go. All right. So once again, Lawrence is on mute. I don't know what this is about, Lawrence, but you can come off of mute.
I'm just listening.
Oh, you do that.
I've got a herd of sheep going by me. I don't want to,
Oh, okay. Are you having construction there in your
anything
graphic design?
tangential stuff? Absolutely. So
Oh my gosh.
hello.
So I know you are about to give a presentation tomorrow before a wonderful group of esteemed colleagues and comrades in networking. And so I know you got things cooking up. We want to hear what's going on. What are you working on? How would you like to tell the world about what you do?
So it's nice to be on your show. Thank you. The objective to any of these, the BNI, I'm a member of a BNI group with the two co-hosts here. And every week there's a 10-minute presentation, a couple of 10-minute presentations. The clicker has landed on me to present. And the objective that I usually have when I step into these meetings is to let people know, peer under the hood a little bit about how things percolate, how things get designed, and then just show sort of a Rolodex of some of the things that I've done, because they're kind of fun. You step back and go, look at these cool things that have happened. So some of it will be a little bit of a case study of what I'm currently doing and some of the challenges and the requests from the client. And some of them will just be just some of the logos I've done. One of the things I'm thinking about is one of the bigger awards that I won was based on a really interesting project. So I'm weighing whether to go with something new and versus revisiting just the peaks and valleys emotionally and creatively that really how this project landed on my shores and how it came out. And it was an awesome ride, but it was one of those ones that I think it's always worth revisiting because it just shows the full arc of what a potential big project can look like and the potential payout for the client and also for the designer. So that was when I did a big project for the Contra Costa Library System, Contra Costa County Library System, and they were rolling out a new program throughout the county. And it was actually a B&I referral, and I connected with them, and I was tasked with. The client said, "We don't know. This is what we need. We don't know. Have at it." And that's great for a graphic designer or a creative to go, okay, we don't know, you do it. And you're like, this is great. I can sink my teeth in it. And all you hear is yes. Just here's the timetable, here's the deadlines, just make it happen. And so I can just show you some of the afters of what I'm talking about.
We'd
And
love to see. And before you do share, could you just mention about what are we seeing behind your head there? Like right there is a beautiful representation of your work behind your head. Like it's just happening.
So right now, a lot of people are on Zoom, and what I try to encourage to have people have virtual backgrounds, because that is an extension of their brand. Right now, without a virtual background, you're just a head in a box without any reference. And sometimes that works for your brand. Others, like David, I made David's. He's in the media, he's in the visualization, he's in the videography and photography. And that sets the stage of that could be his studio. And that would be an awesome studio, but that puts his logo in the context of who he is. So if you have any idea of what he does, you're clear at what he does. This is a professional background that he's able to do. For me, I created this I want to say 10-minute rolling video that sort of, I use this Apple Watch sort of as my multiple canvases to show my work. These are my healthcare logos. They'll come up with law logos and education and nonprofits. So that's just something to sort of be eye candy for people to watch going, wow, that's kind of cool. And it's cool when some of these people's logos pop up and like, oh, that's kind of cool. So that's what they are. That's just something.
Some of these people we know. So it's like, my brain is looking for, oh, I know that's that person's logo. I know that person's logo.
You've got Michelle and you've got Harold and you've got everyone except 2 are B&I people.
Yeah, Sydney. We got Sydney. We got
Eileen Dolan is on the left.
And Anne, we got Anne Maudsley.
Anne Maudsley. Yep. Sydney Metric. Absolutely. So that's some. And then we got some podcasts, and we've got David's coming up. So yes, that's some really of the fun things when you're able to do creative designs. Those logos are very cool when you step back and go, wow, they're so fun. So let me just show you this quick project that I talked about. It was actually
Did you want to say something, David? Just sorry to interrupt, Lawrence.
I was just going to comment that people are very happy with the designs that Lawrence does for them because they don't realize what good design will do. I think of that quote, Rodney Dangerfield, I don't get no respect or whatever. I forget the exact quote, but people don't really realize how much good design will do for them until they have it. Lawrence will give it to them. And, so you hear people, like Courtney with his new business cards, or, every time one of these new things get done, because it's a very good piece, you don't really know what that'll do until you actually get it done. So I'd encourage people to just take a chance and have Lawrence do a logo and some cards for you, because it's amazing stuff. Yeah.
your brand is your silent ambassador. So while you're not around, people are taking it in, going, "Wow, this really speaks volumes. What this professional does. This is really a good look." So yes, thank you. Very, very nice plug. Especially when you merge in the great Rodney Dangerfield and anything. I like that very much.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll just make one more comment about the range of stuff. I love how everything has a different look, that you really have this amazing ability to pick out these fonts that I've never seen before. That, like, where did you get that font and how did you like come up with that to you for that project? So I love the fonts that you have, and it really starts around the font, but also the concept and the energy, it has a lot of pieces. So I just love design. So um,
I would let you do the presentation because I think you're absolutely right. The font, I don't know how long it just sort of dawned on me that the power of when you went to art school, they didn't really talk about fonts. They talked about making your own font, but they didn't really, they stuck with a lot of the classics: sans serif, serif, Garamond, Arial, Futura, and fonts themselves didn't necessarily explode as much they did. So I really look, there's a way I'm constantly looking at fonts going, wow, this is a font looking for a solution. There's a number of fonts going, I hope this project comes up because this will just be awesome. But the other thing is you want to be able to modify those fonts so that actually you take the logo to the next level, that they're even more unique than just simply out of the box using the font. So, but yes, fonts are very fun. That makes sort of the visual candy when you step back on, wow, that's kind of cool. So yeah, definitely appreciate that observation.
yeah, I'll have to show you some of the fonts I have. I have like I buy so much stuff that I don't even use just because I love it's like a hobby. So I have all these, cinematic fonts. I have a bunch of old Hollywood fonts I'm gonna start using. So it's cool
Sweet,
stuff. Yeah.
sweet. Yeah, I haven't even thought about that level of like I'll look at like movie trailers and stuff and I'll look at the fonts, but you're seeing on another level of cinematic fonts, which is very interesting. So why to ask you that question? What is a cinematic font? Why does that speak to you versus a non-cinematic font?
One, I mean, I'm using most of these in videos, so to really just have people are just used to seeing it, so it's like if you see it at the movie theater and then you see it on the small screen for somebody's story, then it kind of makes that connection that, like, okay, this person is somebody to pay attention to. So, and a lot of them are very similar, it's just as elegant white titles. A lot of ones I have are that, but then I do think a lot of videographers make the mistake by, using like the Harry Potter font, which is, doesn't fit. It's great, but it's great for Harry Potter. It's not good for you as a small business owner. So I think you do want to have something that fits, but I'd love to start adapting them too. So I kind of just play with them as a fun thing. I'll just throw it in as a little wild card thing in my video. And like I said, a lot of them I don't even use. I just like having them, and then you'll find a use for them. So for every 100 fonts you have, you might only use like a handful, but when you do use them, you really appreciate them.
They're very fun. I had
And
a
you're going to
project.
show us some stuff, Lawrence?
Sure. I had a project. I was doing a gala and the theme was Dr. Seuss. So I was looking for a Dr. Seuss-esque fonts, and it was very fun to do a lot of graphics that had that Seuss-esque feel to it. So I can dive in. So I'll just dive in. So
Yeah.
Just to touch on that. So when to go back to the sort of the library project, and this is what I'm mulling that I may present. When it was first rolled out to me, it was simply this. And can you see this bus? Am I okay? So
Yeah.
it was very dry. It was the gist of what we do. We're rolling out this bookmobile. We'd like a bus in the ad. And so what I ultimately did was I gave them a couple of concepts, one of which was, it was a rough sketch that had something like this. I was going to put headphones on it. I'm going to do QR code. I'm going to do all these things. And so they're like, okay, you can run with this concept. So putting this together was just like, okay, great. I got the job. How am I going to do this? So that was crazy in of itself. And then in the same process, I said, look, I've got another idea that we put headphones on a guy and we just put, I would create a library on the headphones. And we like that idea. So they gave me 2 directions to go. So the cool thing was with this first one, I needed to, you tried to get, headphones you could get pictures of. I literally I had these headphones, set them up and took a bunch of pictures with a white background, cut them out, put them in a way that they could fit on. This is probably 3 pieces of a headphone to fit around the bus, made the name that says Westcat. That's the name of the project, created a name onto the headphones, put a tagline on the bus, had to cut out the bus itself, had to colorize the bus. So it was bright, get the QR code. So that in of itself was a crazy project, and that was fun. And then you had to do it landscape and horizontal because it needed to go on a bus ad, needed to go on a tent cards. And this here was all these books. I had to make them from scratch, come up with the names. Some of them are legitimate names, others were fake names. Had to come up with individual covers for these, so there was no copyright laws. And then I created people on the books and tried to create some very dynamic looking ad. And these would be on the buses as they drove around. Very successful. They got a lot of click through. The rate of people downloading the books and listening went up. It was very successful. It was on BART trains. It was on BART platforms. And they submitted the award, unbeknownst to me, to a national competition. And I won it was very funny. I'm like, what did I win? This award is the most prestigious in the land. It's the best of the best. It's like, it should have come with a crown and a scepter and everything. It's like, oh, wow, it's kind of cool. Did not know. And so I'd like to think that I wish I was more proactive to put my any of my work in ads. I would like to think I would have won more, but the logos may not necessarily, but I believe doing ads and ad design and coming up with your personal HOV link through the library. That was all this stuff was like, they said, have at it. And
do you have a
fun.
next slide or something, Lawrence? Because we're seeing the bus still.
Yeah, the bus. Do you see? Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
we see the bus. What's the next slide you got for us?
How do you do that? Okay, hang on. Let me do. That was the one thing I wanted to say. Okay,
Sure.
so I did that. I'll go here. Bummer. So this was the concept. I thought I was able to click and it goes through. So this is the concept that I had to shoot the headset, the headphones separately and put it on the bus. Cool. So this was a lot of work to put that together. And I created the Westcat. Sorry, I thought you saw this. So I created
this is giving the idea that people can be on their headsets and they'll be able to have access. Well,
yes, you have to understand. Yeah, the headphones wearing in public was not a concept. This was a few years ago, but now, yeah, when QR codes was there, you scan it, you had access to their library titles, and you could listen on the bus for free.
So cool. That's so cool.
So I will show you the other one. I thought you were able to see it. Thank you for letting me know.
Maybe there's a way that you can hit the desktop one.
I thought so. I thought so. I need to know. And so the next one I will show you before we is
like the haircut.
Yeah. Did you see? Yes. The haircut. The haircut was, I created all the books, had to get all the books, all the titles, had to create all the new art. So there's no copyright. And that was, I have to go, okay, how am I going to do this? And it needed to be vertical and had to come out with fonts that made it visually interesting. So
and then you
all
put
of them were like,
surfer people all around.
Yeah. So you made it very dynamic. So you were exploring this. So this needed to go on bus ads. This needed to go on BART trains. This needed to go on BART platforms. And so it was a very successful program. So, but that's
really cool. Is it still happening? Are they still using it?
No, it was for like a 9-month period. to launch, and then they moved on to another project. But it was they got readership went up, click-throughs were up, and the campaign did its job. So it was very successful, and that was cool. So
Yeah, and I know we wanted to make sure, I know Erica has a client in about 5 minutes, but I
Yeah.
know there's a couple things here where really you can really do a lot for solopreneurs, and a lot of them probably don't do kind of like, everything that you can do, so to speak. Like you might only do a logo and business cards. So I was curious about your offerings for solopreneurs, or I know for somebody like Phil, the African safaris, you did a lot of other branding. You can do like flyers, and all this stuff can be consistent with their brand. But then I also want to ask you about your ideal client, because these are bigger projects. So who are you really looking to work with in terms of organizations or businesses or nonprofits? Yeah.
So there's a lot of breadth and depth that I do. My sweet spot is law, health and healthcare, education. Solopreneurs are really nice. A lot of solopreneurs come with like, I'm starting X. There's food. A lot of food people have been coming to me about different things, and I'll create their branding and some of their menus and stuff. I love solopreneurs. They're really good. And so the hub and spoke is you go with the logo, then you can go out to different things with the logo. My sweet spot really are nonprofits that really have to have a story told. And that's where I can definitely help. That's probably the strongest, that requires more breadth and depth of what I do in order for them to get their story out. So, so yeah, it starts with a conversation. And if it works, it works. If you want to, you get your logo done, is always good to do. And then you go from there. And then we can, bus ads, dirigibles, packaging. So it goes in a number of areas, but it starts with a conversation, David, just to see if there's a fit and if we share the vision that where they want to go.
So we're going to put your website in the comments, and
Sure.
Your contact info is all there on the website. And very cool. It's always great to hear what you're creating, what you've created. It's great to see the work you're doing behind your head. That's so cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, great to see some of the new stuff that you did. I love those. I just feel like the big mistake with a lot of, it's great to see these government agencies using some innovative designs like that. I know that wasn't always the case in terms of, but really, you get a lot better results when you use stuff that catches your attention, than just kind of like, look at that bus ad
if it's fun, it speaks from the soul. If it's genuine, I mean, I like kitschy stuff. It's fun. If it's fun, it's cheeky. But if it's really sincere, that's all part of the equation, which is good. About 9:30 tomorrow morning. We start at 8:45. Hopefully, if anybody's interested in joining the meeting tomorrow and seeing the presentation.
I think the
7:45.
meeting is earlier than what
7:45, but I'll be presenting like probably about 8:30. Excuse me, 8:30 tomorrow.
8, anywhere from between 8:10, 8:20 to 8:40 is when the presentations happen. Yes, AM Pacific time. But we welcome you to come to the whole meeting to get the full flavor. And yeah, great to see you and your work.
Thank you. Likewise. We will see you later. Anyway,
Yes.
thank you. Appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah,
Good
I'll
luck with your
post those
project.
links. I'm also going to post the meeting link for tomorrow as well. So
That'd be great. Go defrag. Who said that? Okay. All right.
okay, perfect. We're even getting Erica to her client on time. Thanks, Lawrence.
All right.
I'm
Take it
gonna
easy. All right. See
bye,
you.
Thanks for
everyone.
coming on with us.
Thank
We'll
you for
see
having
you
me.
next week for the
All right.
ripple effect, everyone.